Hello, everyone. Welcome to our YouTube channel for the Needville United Methodist Church. This is our weekly Bible study on Wednesdays that goes on. We try to do it every Wednesday. We're starting a new Bible study today. But before we get into it, I would ask, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button down below and hit the like button on the video. Both are great ways to help improve what's going on. The subscribe button, of course, will let you know of all the new things that come up on our YouTube channel as soon as they hit. And the like button, of course, spreads this information out to lots of different people. So the more you put the likes, the more people get to see it. And hopefully what that does is bring more and more people into relationship with Christ. As always, I also encourage you use the comment section down below to talk with me, ask questions, give feedback, both positive and constructive criticism, things that I can do to make this better, to make it easier, to make it more impactful, whatever it is. Please let me know down in the comment section below. And of course, in the description section, you will find our Facebook page. If you haven't already done so, go on to Facebook, like us there, and follow our page there, and our web page. You can go onto our website. You can give to the church. You can contact me or any of the staff. You can do lots of things through the website, as well as learn about our local congregation. So that's all really great ways to involve yourself, not only in the church, but to learn more about who we are. Now, today we're going to start a new Bible study. It's a 4-week study, and I'm entitling it Under My Roof. But really, and as much as it's a study on how to be good, godly parents, I hope that even in talking about how moms and dads can take care of their little ones and bring them up in the faith so that eventually they can make their own choice, and they can make their faith their own. At some level, all of us are babes in the faith that's and need of growth. And so there's always that time when, even those of us that are seasoned Christian disciples, right? We should go back to our roots. We should go back to the basics. My son plays baseball. I played baseball as a kid as well. And one of the greatest things that baseball will teach any athlete that goes out to play, whether they're going to be MLB stars or they're just going to be, your average Joe in the little league, knowing the fundamentals is so much more important. So even though you know all of them together, it's always good to go back and practice the fundamentals. So that's what we're going to do through this study. And I hope that if you're a parent, you can utilize some of the experience that I have raising my 2 kids with my wife, and things that we've done to help build your children's faiths. But also, these things can help you build yours, whether you have kids at home or not, whether you're single, married, looking forward to having kids, not having kids at home, or maybe you're older and you're a grandparent or not quite yet, empty nester. That all of these things, these ideas, these fundamentals can really help you become a better Christian. And so we're going to start with prayer. All right, we're going to go into the Gospel of Matthew, because one of the most important things that we can do is to learn from Christ. And Christ, when he speaks of prayer, he gives us a blueprint for prayer, and we call it the Lord's Prayer. And he tells it to the disciples so that his words, so that this blueprint would be passed down from generation to generation to generation to generation. I can tell you that it's how my kids have started their prayer journeys. I have an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old at the house. My 8-year-old, when he started speaking, actually before he started speaking, our nightly ritual included me and my wife and him, and the 3 of us sitting in the floor of his nursery saying the Lord's Prayer together. Before he could even speak, we were reciting the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven. You know the words. We prayed that prayer together until finally he started being able to speak. It was comical listening to him try to pronounce some of the really big words in the Lord's Prayer. Temptation, right? 2-year-old trying to pronounce temptation, right? It was funny, but he was learning those words. He was learning that prayer was important. And throughout all of this study, one of the things that I hope you'll start to see is that what you make important will be important to them. Rather they're newborns, rather they're toddlers, rather they're teenagers. What's important to you will sink in. Now, I understand I don't have teenagers yet, but even though teenagers are typically rebellious and everything else, I can tell you just from remembering when I was a teen, I remember what my parents taught me. I remember it now that I'm older, now that I'm more mature. I can look back and say that was important. So I encourage you, if you've got kids at home, start them out with this prayer. Teach them, regardless of how old they are. Teach them what the lines in the prayer mean, why it's the blueprint for prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. What does that mean when you say those words? Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. What does it mean when we say these things? As you go through the prayer, you will teach your child, and I guarantee you, you will change as well. You will learn things about the prayer that maybe you didn't know, or maybe things that you had forgotten, because how many times do we go on autopilot, right? When we do the Lord's Prayer. So I encourage you, if you are a parent at home and you haven't started doing this yet, you want to know the very first thing you can do to help grow that seed of faith inside your child from an early age. You start them here. You start them in prayer, and you use, there's no reason to remake the wheel. Jesus gives us a blueprint and says, if you're going to pray, pray like this. As I said, my oldest son, we started that before he could speak. Our youngest son, we did the same thing. He's now speaking completely. He says the prayer every night. He's the one that leads us in the prayer. He won't do the prayer until all of us are in the room, even the dogs. But now my oldest, he's finally gotten to a point where he says his own prayers at night. But he bases it off of that knowledge, that experience of saying the Lord's Prayer every night. He gives thanks to God for things that happen during the day. He asks God for help for things in his life. He asks for prayers of healing or help for his friends and family members that he knows that are either sick or struggling. Is it elementary? Of course it is. But the beautiful part is that he is starting to recognize how to have that conversation with God. As I said, if you're parents, if you've got kids at home, this is a great place to start. But even if you don't have kids at home, even if you're sitting there and you're like, well, I've taught, do it yourself. The best place for any of us to start our faith, to rekindle the fires of faith, to strengthen our faith, is through conversation with the man upstairs. Start with prayer. Recite the Lord's Prayer together. Think about every word and phrase and let it seep into your soul so that you have a great connection and a great foundation of faith. I hope and pray that this helps you. I hope and pray that you have a wonderful rest of the week. I look forward to seeing you either in church on Sunday morning or here on our YouTube channel for the sermon, and of course, for next week's Bible study on Wednesday. May God bless you until we meet again.